Welcome friends to Electricity 201 with Video42, where we aim to make you a licensed electrician and the envy of all the construction worker zombies around. No, actually you'll probably be the only electrician in all of Navisgain. Except maybe Trader Bobby sort of looks like he knows a thing or two about hooking things up. But anyway, you'll probably be the only one who does this. If you're playing solo player, if you're playing multiplayer, then hopefully you can teach your friends as well. So last time I went through the basics of the skills and perks and how to make a generator bank, how to craft it, how to hook it up, how to light up your base and turn it on and off with switches and relays and trigger plates and all of that. This time we're diving into some of the more advanced things, such as using a battery bank as backup power, maybe using a solar generator with the solar panels, and of course, what about all those really cool power doors and hatches and garage doors and drawbridges that were added in Alpha 18? We're going to be covering some of them as well. I'm going to try and make this as straightforward as possible, but if you didn't catch the previous video, the basic electricity, I do recommend going back and have a look at that before this one. And if you have a few seconds available, then do go and hit that subscribe button as well. That really does help me out. And why not the like button? But a quick recap. So, intellect. As far as all this, we need advanced engineering, and the cool things that we're going to be doing is down in inventory, and well, most of this inventory actually. There's a little bit of advanced engineer, but at least number 3. But let's start with the battery bank. So the battery bank by itself is not a power generator, rather it relies on batteries to sort of provide electricity. So you can charge it up and it can release the energy as well. Now to craft it, you go to the workbench and you select the battery bank. It is very cheap at 10 iron, electrical parts and scrap polymers is fairly easy to make, but you need the batteries as well. And how you get the batteries? Well, just go and wrench some of these cars. Eventually you'll end up getting a battery, and there's a lot of other stuff as well. Some fuel, some pipes and some scrap, and maybe some engines as well. Mechanical parts, headlight, all stuff that you want to have. Obviously I got a full inventory, so just go scrap until you get some batteries. So what do you use this battery bank for? Let's place it down here. Obviously it looks kind of interesting. I kind of like it. It looks like there's space for 6 batteries even on the asset, which is actually entirely accurate. You put in the batteries and you'll see it has a max output, sort of like a generator, and a power, which is the current draw on it. You put in the batteries, and depending on the quality of the battery, it will increase the max output as well. And then you can turn it on and it will be active. Now, what do you do with it? Well, you really decide yourself. You right click on the battery bank and let's connect, let's say, let's connect these ones. You see, they go on. And this one has a draw of 7. This has a draw of 7 as well. And if you look here, this one is going to slowly be draining. And if we stand here a long time, we'll definitely see that happening. But we're not going to stand there too long. So this one works just like any generator as far as providing power. However, as you can see, it is slowly draining, and when this one is drained, there's no more power. So what you also want to make sure, that you connect it to either a solar power or a generator in order to charge it up. And if I connect it here and I look at it, it says it doesn't have any power right now because all the draw right now is coming from the generator bank. So the generator bank is providing all the power, but as soon as I switch this off, I go back, now it's saying it's powering at 14. So if you turn this off and you just leave the generator running, it is going to charge it up over a time. And it doesn't take that long. It's actually fairly useful. But why would you do that with the generator? And normally you wouldn't, because this one, just fuel it up with gasoline and or petrol, depending on where you are from. So normally what you do, and we're going to go over to the solar generator. If you chain up the solar generator with a battery bank, that's really where you get the benefits. Let me select the solar bank here, and you hit E to interact. And now we see the same thing, max output and power turn on, and this has 6 slots. I'm going to put in 1 solar cell, and it says 20 output. Really nice. Of course, that's because there's sun right now. But then let's see where we go. So let's right click here as well and right click on the power, and you'll see it's off. What happened? Of course, it's because we didn't turn it on. As soon as I turn it on, nice. everything is powered. And this one is it's not going to decrease. This is basically just the durability of this one, but it's going to provide power until, well, the sun goes down. So let's have the sun go down here. Let's see, I think it's about at 2200 hours. We see 2201, and these ones are off. Of course, these ones are running because I have this one on, right? The generator's on, but these one are not running. It's all dark. Nothing is working. So how do you then use the solar bank when you want power at night? Well, that's where the battery bank comes in. So you chain the solar bank with the battery bank. Battery bank goes up to the lights. And let's make sure we turn everything on. Turn on, and voila! Now we basically are charging the battery bank with solar power. Green, renewable, really good. So everyone's going to be really happy about that. And it is going to deplete this one. It will be depleted slowly overnight. So you have to match the power draw that you have during the night and how much this one is providing during the daytime. So let's have a look. It's going to go down a bit, but let's switch it to daytime. Daytime goes on, and if we have a look at this one, it's no longer drawing power, but this one is going to be charged up. And if you look at this one, it is going to be charging up the battery bank. And oh, you saw this very briefly went to 19, and it's because it was saying that, hey, I'm going to charge this up at 5 watt, but I think this is now fully charged. It doesn't really need it. So if we let this run down to, let's say, 75%, it would draw an extra, I think, 5 watt in order to charge it up, and the remaining would go to turning on the lights. So during daytime, it's only solar power. Nighttime, the battery bank. Really useful. Now you can also mix that up with, say, timer relay. So you could say that, hey, I'm only going to have light in my base during, let's say, 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. The rest of the time, I'm not going to have the light. I'm just going to use my solar power to, let's say, charge up my battery or to power something else, because obviously I could go for something else. Let's say I have this one over here, so that this one goes directly. This one is the battery bank, and what this means is that, let's turn this on. If I go back to nighttime, you probably will know what happens is that these ones are being powered by the battery bank. Obviously, this one, well, there's no light because it's being powered directly by the solar bank, which is not getting any energy from the sun because obviously it's dark. Now the thing, however, to get the solar panels in the solar bank, because you can't craft it, you have to go to the traders. You go, oh, what can I buy? And you want this secret stash, and it doesn't show any. And part of the reason is you need to increase your secret stash. You do that through the better barter. If you look down, you see on number 3, it says trader's secret stash shows better loot. 4, 5. So you need to buy a bunch of these ones, and that will increase the chance of seeing the solar panel. So let's see here. No solar power. All right, let's do another one. I'm now at 4. Let's have a look to see if there's going to be any solar power. This motorcycle. Oh, there was actually this one here, solar cell. As you can see, it's really expensive. It actually goes from something like 15,000-20,000 up to 45,000-50,000 depending on skills that you have. So it's really expensive, and so I would definitely make sure that the solar bank itself is something like 2,500. Buy that when you can, and then go be on the lookout for solar cells, because you can't actually scavenge them. You have to buy them. So it is really an end game. Oh, here it is, solar bank 2,600. So it's really more of a medium end game when you have all the money to blow on this. But until then, just use the generators. You do have to refuel them once in a while, but at least it's fairly cheap. We're now going to be looking at all the powered items. So let's go to inventory, do powered, and you'll see reinforced drawbridge, powered, steel garage doors, powered, garage door, powered, vault, and of course this is special, so don't worry about that one. And it'll tell you what it is. Some of them are fairly expensive as far as steel and everything. The drawbridge is probably the most expensive one. And you look at the unlocks, basically advanced engineering, or you need to find the power doors and bridges schematic. So it really depends. This one is actually not too bad to find. This one obviously requires more skill points. But once you have that, you go and search for it, and you can craft it here, just like anything else if you have all the resources. I did previously make a video which was extensively looking at all the power things, so I'm going to go through this reasonably quick. I will leave a link in the description for a lot of tips and tricks for how to use them better, so I'm just going to go through this really quickly. Now, we have the powered vault door here. Now, this one, obviously, if I go up to it, I can't open it. There's no one, but it says 5 watt. So, how do I open it? Well, let's put down something like that. Let's grab the power from here. Trigger plate to the door, and step on this one. It opens, and I pass through. Wonderful. And then I'm outside, and I can get back in. Right. So you have to use signal pass through in order to open it from both sides. But we'll go through that later on. What about the powered hatch? So let's do the powered hatch here. Works exactly the same. Let's connect this one to the trigger plate. You can't open it manually. You step on this, and the powered hatch opens. I step off, it closes. Now, of course, like anything, you can say, let's say I'm going to have it 10 seconds. So I step on this, it's going to open, it's going to stay open for 10 seconds, which gives me time to fall down and break my leg. Fortunately, I'm in God mode, so I can get up here if I can get, oh yes, in time, right before it closed. So that's how you use the powered hatch. It's really, really nice if you are hooking up with motion sensors, for instance. Another really cool thing is the powered garage door. It is, as you can see, it is, I believe, a 3x3, and it's sort of like the placement is a little bit interesting, but it's in the middle of the block, and you open it up just like anything else. You just take power, step here, it opens up, you walk through, and it'll close after 10 seconds. So this one is really good. It does have a ton of hit points, 10,000, so it will last a fair while. Another of my favorites, and this is the other powered garage door, which is huge. It is 4x3. Or is it 4x2? 1, 2, 3. Okay, so it's 4x3. Just confirming. I like it because it looks kind of unassuming. It's like, all right. It does have 14,000 hit points, so it's really durable. And you connect it just like anything else. We'll connect it here. But it has this really cool animation where it will go exactly the wrong way. That's not what I want. Placement I found is a little bit tedious because I always get it to roll the wrong way. So let's see if we get it rolled towards me here. Step here, and yes. And now it's actually doubling as a roof or something. You can use it as a driveway. That's what I do in my underground parking garage. If you haven't seen that, I used it in one of the other bases as well. And it's got a really nice animation. So this one is really good to put in your base because not only does it look cool, it sounds nice and it's really durable. Finally, we have the powered drawbridge. I use this one extensively on my my multiplayer base on my server, and the way you put it in is a little bit painful to put in. You see, I tried to put it in here, and if I put it here, it's going to go down, but it's the wrong way. Let's say I want to have it here on in my base. It's like, nope, that's the wrong place. So for me to place it here, well, it's a little bit painful because I have to build out a bunch of frames here. And why do you need to do that? Well, you need something to point the mouse at. So if I have these ones, I can point the mouse at it. Let me see if I remove this one. You see, I can't put anything because the mouse doesn't end up on anything. So you have to build out a few, and I don't know why they did it this way. It's a little bit better than previously, but it's still a pain. So let's say I do it like this, right click to put it in, and it falls down because the structural integrity of this one is really, really peculiar. You see, I put it here. The reason it didn't work here is because it's extremely heavy, and this was not enough support. So you have to take that into account as well. But let me put another one. So here I have solid underneath, and let me place it down. Perfect. It shouldn't be falling through. And now I need to hook it up, and this is where signal pass-through is really useful. So I'm going to connect it from this one, and this is just a trigger plate, which goes to this one, which is the motion sensor. Motion sensor goes to this one, the drawbridge. Motion sensor also goes to this one. And we should be good. Let me turn this one on. So if I step on this one, hopefully everything works. This one opens and this one flips down perfectly. And then it will close. And okay, they open it. So I have the motion sensor there. So when that one sees me coming up this slope, and this one is a little bit too steep for vehicles, it's a bit of a pain to do that. So let me come back here. I come back, the motion sensor sees me, this one flips down and this one rolls up, and I can go into my base. And this is basically what signal pass-through is. You go to one item, you go to the second item being the motion sensor, and then you connect it to whatever you want it to open. So whichever is triggered, such as whether this one is triggered or the motion sensor is triggered, it will send power to either of them. Next thing we're going to start looking at is some of the base defenses. And again, I have more in-depth guides for a lot of these ones, but I'm going to go through them really quickly. First one up is the electric fence. Now this one is really nice because, let's say I connected here, I connect the fence post 1, you connect fence post 2, there we go, and you see if you step in here, you get zapped, you take damage, and let me see if I can get in a small little zombie. Hello Darlene, yes, see she gets done. Now let's have a look at her hit points. Her hit points are down to 95. They're now at 77. So every time she gets buzzed, she takes some damage. And eventually she will die. So it's actually really powerful, especially to stun them, slow them down, and eventually... Come on. Come on, yes, die. Now it's time for you to die. Darlene, sorry. Yes, there she's dead. The downside though is that it does take some reflected damage, so the more zombies that are standing in it, the more the reflected damage is, which means that eventually it'll break down, not get destroyed, but you'll have to repair it. Still, a few of these ones can really help you manage the zombies running into your base, because even if they're running, they'll be stunned. Second thing we're going to be looking at is the blade trap. So let's put down a blade trap here, and put it here, just nicely in eye level. So we're going to take some power from here, connect it nicely, step into it. We'll take damage, but obviously we always have friends to help just to try things out. Hello Arlene, look at our hit, 125, and she's dead. You saw, because this one is really meant for killing, it's not meant for just slowing down. You'll see it does really short work of most zombies. Now it also takes some reflected damage. So you saw it went down by 20 per each, but it still means that it can take quite a few of these ones before it gets broken down. And you see, normally zombies can't get past it, and then you just repair it. It doesn't have any specific control, it basically just spins. So if it's connected, it spins. That's why you normally will have tripwires or, for instance, trigger plates or something in order to activate it. But what's this box? Oh, it's the dart trap. Oh, wrong way. I don't know why this one turned the wrong way. Let's do copy rotation like this. Dart traps is basically just a block. Looks kind of interesting, looks kind of unassuming. Let's put some ammo in here. It can take up to 500 per slot, so it's 1500. You make sure you lock ammo, otherwise it will not activate. Let's do these ones here. Nice. Let's take out this one and let's do something like this. We're gonna do it like this. So we have a trigger plate. Let's chain them up. Power, trigger plate to the dart trap. Trigger plates to the dart trap. Something steps on. See this one? Both are shooting. Of course, we don't want to kill ourselves, but let's get in an Arlene here and let's have a look to see. Bam! You saw she took no damage. Why? Let me jump over here. It's because she's a little bit too fast. Right? She gets through. Okay, there she did. She took a little bit of damage there. That's the problem if you just put them like this. It's really tough to hit any zombies because, well, die. Right, at least she's dead. Because they'll just run past it, which is not really what we want. But either you put, well, there are a couple of ways around it. So we're going to do this. Let me show you two tricks. So we do something like this. Now we have a wall in front of us. Let's get Arlene again. She will come up and you'll see she'll be standing here and she'll take damage because she can't get past. So she will die. And this is one of the more effective ways of doing it. You have a trigger right outside of your walls, for instance, inside a corridor, and you'll see it gets one hit in and then he's dead. That's the first way of dealing with it. The second way of dealing with it is to chain it with some electric fences. Let's see if I can get that one in as well. Okay, electric fence. So we're going to hook up the electric fence. We go from here down to the electric fence. Electric fence goes to here, always active. Now it means that hopefully when the zombie comes here, it gets stunned enough that it will be standing right in the way, and you see it gets shot. So it gets stunned. Of course, this only works when they're walking. If they're running, and I'll show that, you see, because it's getting stunned right here and actually made it past. And oh, see, yep, this time it's going to die. Now if they're running, oh, and I tried to jump past, it didn't work. You see, if I do follow the Pharaoh, you saw it gets stunned, but it might get a little bit past the just the center point. Oh, ouch! If you're unlucky, and that's one of the problem with fast running ones. So combining electric fences with dot traps and a wall is really powerful, because as they come up, they get stunned. As they step on this one, they also start triggering the dot traps, and that kills them. But let's look at the turrets. In this case, the auto turret. Place it down. E to interact with it. Oh, actually, it's a shotgun turret. Sorry. Lock ammo. You can see here, self, allies, strangers, or zombies. In this case, and this is where you aim it, but I can't because it's not being powered. Let me get some power. I go E again. Click here. I can aim it. Depending on, no, I don't want to shoot myself. So let's just do forward like this. Perfect. Let's spawn in the businessman, and bam, bam, bam. Dead. Right. It's fairly straightforward. This shotgun turret, I have made a guide that goes through how to use it in craft and everything in more detail, but this is basically how you hook it up. It takes 15 watt. What about the auto turret? Now the auto turret is the slightly different. You see how it is. It has a slightly different turret icon or asset, but it works essentially the same way, except where the shotgun turret has, I believe, 15 range, this one has 30. So this one has a lot longer range. So it's really good against, for instance, vultures or longer ranges. But the same thing, we go in here, we put in the 9mm, lock it, aim it, whatever we want to do. Spawn in a cheerleader, and bam, 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 dead. So this is how it works. That's what turrets do. Oh, headshot, killed it instantly. Oh, and decapitated. Oh no, she has no head. So turrets are really, really powerful. Of course, they require ammo, whereas the dart trap requires darts, which are a little bit cheaper to make. And that's all there is to it. We've now covered power generation a few different ways. We've covered the power doors and hatches. We've covered the traps. So what's left for you is to go and craft all this, put it down, hook it up, plan it out for your base, and see what ways you can use them to kill the zombies or just light up your base. Next video, we're going to cover a bunch of tips and tricks for working with electricity. And if you have any of your own, please leave them in the comment section below and I might include them. And I'm sure if you're still here, you enjoyed the video, so make sure you subscribe and like the video as well. That really does help me out, and a big thank to you and all of you for watching. And we'll see you next time.
Special thanks to the great patrons supporting the channel. If you would like to join the vetted community and support these videos, do follow the Patreon link.